Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode. We are joined this afternoon by a very close partner of ours, Taxually, and Mike Stride from Taxually. Mike, welcome to the SKUdrop YouTube channel.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jamie. Lovely to be here. Looking forward to it. And hello, everyone watching.
Yeah, I know you were put into this at the last minute, but everyone at Taxually's got high quality standards, and so as soon as Tom, our regular person that helps out with Taxually, said that Mike was coming on, it was great, and we just had a little brief chat offline, and really looking forward to diving into this. Just before we do, Mike, tell us a little bit about you, Taxually, your role at Taxually. Um, you can give us a brief overview what Taxually do. We're going to get into some nuts and bolts because I'm titling this video, as you will see in the handle, Global Expansion from China, really based at our SKUdrop customers that are storing all their inventory with potential SKUs that can be globally distributed. And we're going to deep dive into what that looks like from a tax, VAT, all sorts of things today. But Mike, a little bit about you, a little bit about Taxually. That'd be fantastic to kick it off.
Yeah, of course. Well, a little bit about myself, firstly. So I've been working in the e-commerce sector for about eight to 9 years now, helping from all size brands, from smaller Amazon sellers to global brands and to retailers, help expand and into new regions, helping with their compliance as well. I'm really excited to be a part of this and help some of their customers. I joined actually fairly recently, really focusing on that expansion piece and helping them expand into new markets and stay compliant essentially. So here at Taxually, we help around 20,000 plus customers
Wow.
currently to simplify their tax and compliance. So for any e-commerce brand and Amazon seller globally is where I really focus. Our software allows them to register, expand into new regions, file, and ensure they stay compliant with local taxes when selling. So if that's in the EU, into the US, Australia, wherever that might be, we facilitate around 85 plus markets globally
Wow.
and
Wow.
allowing them to connect their platforms to the Taxually software so they can stay compliant and excel and expand with ease and make sure that their global expansion is really ready for them.
Well, I didn't know it was up to 20,000, mate. That is a huge, I can only imagine a huge operation and what that looks like. But having the SaaS and the platform that you talked about, we'll dig into that a bit more, which will probably make it easier to scale and look after people at that sort of level. But I guess a good place to start is, you know, who global expansion, who's it for, who's it not for, with your experience. Um, where do you see the pitfalls of people making, judgments whether or not to start to globally expand, and maybe starting there before we get into the compliance and what's required? Who's it really suited to?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think before anyone looks to expand, you really need to understand like your current market and what you're
Hmm.
doing there. If you're dominating that current market and you've got everything under control, and it's going successfully, and you've seen that revenue, you've trialed and tested different things, then I would then consider looking at the global expansion. It's not always based on revenue. I wouldn't say you have to be doing X amount of revenue before looking to expand. I think it's seeing where you are within your current market, what you're currently selling as well, and then
Hmm.
potentially also looking at what your competitors are doing as well and how successful maybe they've been in new markets is always something I would consider before looking to expand. Because when you expand, there are things you need to consider, not only the tax and implications and compliance, which we'll touch on, but how that market and how your new customers shop and purchase, because that could be very different. Obviously, logistically, it's different as well. So, yeah, I think it's a huge goal to expand internationally and enter into new markets. I would never suggest rushing it either.
Hmm.
But also definitely I'd always have it in my mind of looking to expand at the right time because there's huge opportunity in multiple markets. And now with the likes of with us, with the platform and other fantastic service providers that we're partnered with, and it makes it so easy. So the kind of thought of I don't know how to do it or what to do is gone. The simplicity is there, and you can do it very quickly and efficiently as well, and it really helps increase that revenue at the same time and brand awareness.
Yeah, it's an amazing answer, mate. That's really helpful. So if someone's done the due diligence, a company is looking to expand, they can, mount their case to do this. What are some of the first steps that need to happen? Um, Obviously there's you mentioned you look after 85 jurisdictions or something like that, so we won't go into all the jurisdictions, but let's just say for argument's sake some of the bigger markets. If someone's looking to expand into the UK or the EU, the
Mm.
pan EU Amazon sort of atmosphere, um, what are some of the things that people need to consider when it starts coming to the compliance? Obviously, reaching out to you guys, you've got the platform. You've just said that it now becomes easier. What are those steps and what do people need to do?
Yeah, of course. So I would always recommend anyone looking to expand to speak to and have a plan 6 months before, because
Right.
it's the time frames that
Hmm.
you don't really understand and take into account when looking to expand. You go, okay, I want to get in there for Christmas, or if you're a seasonal seller or something like that, and then
Mm.
you actually look at it and go, this is maybe impossible now. So
Yeah.
I would always say plan 6 months in advance because of the time frame it takes. So
Hmm.
where we typically, not that it takes that long to get the registrations and compliance done, but
Hmm.
you don't want to rush anything. You don't want to rush your decision. You don't want to rush, like you said, if you're going to the UK, the pan EU, whatever it might be. So
Hmm.
really understand like these things do take time, and we want to make sure we do it properly. So I always, when I'm cool with the sellers or brands looking into new markets, really understand what they're looking to achieve. Firstly, is important. Like you said, if they're an Amazon seller, it's slightly different to them maybe looking at a D2C seller and they sell
Hmm.
on Shopify or their own store or whatever that might be. But in
Hmm.
terms of the general rules, let's say they're going to the UK, as you
Hmm.
mentioned. Um, if they're storing goods outside their country of origin, so it's going into the UK, they will need a VAT number before storing any goods. So that's number one to get that application underway, because there's a few countries like the UK and others in Europe that maybe take slightly longer,
Hmm.
just simply due to the demand of the amount of people that are trying to register for that.
Applications.
So
Could I
that
just
VAT
interrupt there and
number.
just ask what the time frame is for that particular with the UK at the moment?
Yeah, so the UK is probably the longest currently. We're seeing it anywhere between 12 to 14 weeks. So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
kind of up to 3 months for the UK. Europe, the kind of Central Europe is slightly less, but still a longer period of time. Like Germany is probably the longest there, which is anywhere 10 to 12 weeks, probably pushing more of the 12 currently.
Hmm.
France, you're looking at again 10 weeks. Anything with
Okay.
Netherlands, Spain, Italy, 4 to 6 weeks as well.
Okay.
Another thing to consider is most of the countries when expanding into Europe, it's very self-explanatory in the documentation that you need, that every business will have. It is easy, but then you have other countries that maybe require slightly more or different kind of signatures to enter in that market as well. So really kind of when having a call, they will learn a lot about what it takes to enter into the UK or Europe and maybe other compliance things like EPR or physical representation. They go, actually, my thought was I wanted to go into the UK, but now looking at and understanding it all, maybe Germany and the rest of Europe is better. So it's
Yeah.
always
Gotcha.
having that buffer of the timeline to once you understand the information to process it and make the right decision, what's right for the business and the brand and the seller that could be.
Yeah. And is that something that you said when you have a call, just so I understand and so that the listeners do as well? Having a call with you guys, is then the process kept in your software? How does the software integrate with all this?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the initial call is obviously a free consultation call. We
Okay.
understand a little bit about them. They're able to ask questions like yourself that you're doing now, that just to give them the full understanding.
Hmm.
Once they come on board and we decide where they want to go, that's where really they become a customer of Taxually, and we support them. So they'll go through an onboarding process, which is allows them to come on board and sign up to the Taxually platform. So our onboarding team will take them through that process, hold their hand through it to make sure everything's up and ready. And then the VAT application in this case would start and submitted, and then once it's received, that's when they would utilize the platform. So the
Right.
dashboard is a fantastic dashboard that gives you a full overview. And maybe on another video we can do a brief demo or a short
Yeah,
one.
awesome. Love to do
Um,
that. I've seen a
and then
little
you
bit
then
how it
also
works, and it's amazing.
yeah, yeah. And then you can break down if you're in multiple countries, the different jurisdictions as well. But how the platform essentially works in short, it allows you to connect your store via API. So if that's your Amazon or your Shopify or whatever marketplace or whatever storefront that be, allows you to connect your storefront, and then that will pull all of your sales in the jurisdictions in either Europe or wherever you are. Taxually and our software will automatically calculate any VAT that's due and owed. We'll file automatically on their behalf as well. And then all they'll do is be notified how much they would need to pay and when they would need to pay it. And essentially they're now compliant, and that's an ongoing cycle. So sometimes you have to do filing monthly, quarterly, or yearly.
Yeah.
Luckily, you don't have to worry about any of that because once you've connected your marketplace or your storefront to the platform, it takes care of it automatically for you. So it's a kind of like one less step to kind of worry about.
What I find amazing is just the efficiency level, the ease of use, tapping into all these various marketplaces, and once having that daunting thought, needing accountants all over the place looking after everything, now having one central platform that can look after various jurisdictions, file, have you compliant in all those jurisdictions. That is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So it kind of the sellers that I've spoken to in the past have always had this, yeah, I'd love to do that one day, but the
Mm.
compliance and the VAT and the tax just makes it too hard to, and they throw it in the too hard basket.
Yeah, yeah. No, we see that as well, and that's why the tool allows them to really break into that market without having to worry about it. And will the cost of utilizing the platform is so efficient.
Mm,
It's also a low barrier to entry. So it kind of brings back to the initial question of when is someone ready to expand? You don't need to be doing huge amounts of revenue because the cost doesn't it's not significant enough to worry or have that as a burden. You can
mhm,
be any size to really utilize the platform, which is
mhm.
fantastic. And once you utilize the platform, there's no additional costs if you're selling 100,000, 1 million, or 100 million. It's
Yeah.
that's where the solution comes in, or if it's across multiple marketplaces.
Yeah. Is there any jurisdictions that, from your data sets, and I'd imagine that you guys having 20,000 users on the platform, you would have an amazing sort of plethora of data that you could look at. For someone that may be doing, let's call it seven figures, but underneath $10 million, like that, $5 to $10 million, say, let's call it the US jurisdiction, looking to go into the EU or the UK. Is there any
Yeah.
data that suggests or that you can give us some insight on this? And this is a blanket question because all products are different, all businesses are different. But I guess my question is there an easier entry to certain jurisdictions with an easier point of entry than others that people should look at first? And maybe that's a hard question to answer because every product's different, like I said. But yeah, I think I think you know where I'm coming from. Is there an easier way to break into this?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, we could spend half an hour on this question, but
Yeah, fair
obviously,
enough. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's there's two parts. So we'll go from an Amazon
Okay, yeah.
side and then also maybe the D2C side.
Yeah.
We see from a D2C side the Netherlands being utilized re a
Hmm.
lot because obviously logistically there's a lot of hubs there, and it's a
Yeah.
great point to come to Europe, and they have fantastic kind of they really understand, I think is the right words, e-commerce, and understand the value of someone coming in, and what that brings to them as a country, so to say.
Hmm.
And then with that, utilizing maybe if you're not wanting to register in multiple countries and you're not sure which one you want to focus on, utilizing
Hmm.
something called OSS, which is one-stop
Hmm.
shop. So
Yes.
essentially, then that brand can sell all throughout Europe with one-stop shop, store in the Netherlands, and then it will allow them to just file one tax return for all of their EU VAT. Okay, so
Right.
that's really seen as a great way. You can also do that with other countries, but I think the Netherlands probably it is preferred in some cases, just because of the fulfillment and logistics side of it as well. Um, and then off the back of that, you can then focus where you want to, what's performing after 6 months in Europe, and then maybe start registering there and storing goods there locally, etc., etc. as well. And then from an Amazon side, obviously, I'd always it depends. It's again the similar route, but utilizing the Pan EU program is,
Mm.
I think, is really beneficial because if you actually look at the one, it gives you access to more customers when on the Pan EU program from Amazon. The delivery and everything is amazing. You also just send the goods to one Amazon warehouse and they will then distribute it for you. So they're kind of taking care and part of that side as well. And I think if you really break down the stats, as we mentioned, again, it changes per product weight and everything like that. But I think on average, if you look at utilizing um, Amazon and you're not doing the Pan EU program, but you're selling cross border, if you do around, I think it's like 30 or just over 30 orders a month cross border, the fees that take into account is actually more than registering and
Yeah. Right.
storing and fulfilling locally. So it's having that kind of knowledge and going, actually, I'm if I'm doing the pan, if I'm going on Amazon and registering, and one, it's probably more beneficial to do the Pan EU program because you're saving in a variety of different ways eventually,
Hmm.
but maybe a bit more of initial investment. And
Hmm.
also, you open yourself up to a wider audience in
Hmm.
terms of customers when selling on the marketplace as well.
Apologies if this is a naive question, but I'm sure people will be wondering this as I am. Registering with Pan E or Pan EU program, what triggers a VAT registration and how does that work amongst the whole jurisdiction? Um, I'm not completely sure because there's so many countries involved how that all works. You've probably got a really simple answer for this with your software. But I'd just like to know myself, registering with that, do you need VAT registration in every country?
Yes,
You do.
essentially, is the
Okay.
short
Okay.
answer. If you're storing goods locally and you're locally fulfilling, so if you're storing goods in a country and
Okay.
you're not, obviously that's not where your business or origin is, you'll
Hmm.
need a VAT number in Europe, and that goes all across Europe and also the UK as well.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you also need an EORI number to send goods
Yes.
there for the
Yep.
first
For the
time.
for the
So.
for the shipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So in terms of obviously the Pan EU program and what the Pan EU program essentially sells for, it's when you are registering, it's for two or more countries on the Pan EU program. So to
Right.
qualify for that, you'd have to be registered, like I said, two or more countries. So
Okay.
Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Poland, Czech, example,
Yeah.
pick
Gotcha.
two, minimum of two.
Okay. And I guess that is where Taxually come into their own because now you're dealing with so many different jurisdictions, VATs, and it's the software, it's automated. Sales get pulled in from wherever they're coming from, and it all just magically happens on your platform. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, the team behind Taxually and the software is absolutely fantastic. It's industry leading, but yeah, like you said,
Okay.
if you're selling in five or six markets, having to the alternative way is downloading it all from your
Right.
marketplace or your platform, working out what where it's come from, if it's returned or not, because then again, that's another kind of
Mm.
curveball that comes in. And then if you don't do it yourself, speaking to like a local person, each one, the language barrier. But like I said, yeah, when you connect your
Okay.
stores to the Taxi platform, calculates everything for you, understands where it's sold, how much VAT is due, if any, and then
Mhm.
automatically files for you. So you're 100% compliant.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Just tying this back before we wrap up the video and make it nice and punchy before we talk about how to reach out to you guys. Tying this back into SKUdrop customers and basically in our platform, we have a global mapping system for SKUs. So if products can be sent globally with
Hmm.
barcoding compliance, obviously you can't send a UK plug to the US and vice versa. So our system accommodates for keeping things separate when needed. But if there are SKUs or products that can be sent anywhere around the world as they are, we have a global mapping system. So they store in China.
Yeah.
They're able to map their SKUs to various marketplaces, which makes outbounding out of our DC very seamless and through the software. So I see this synergy with Taxually and that global expansion working. Um, just wanted to tie off. How can people reach out for that onboarding call? There's going to be links in this video. SKUdrop customers are more than welcome to reach out to support here at SKUdrop as well. But how can we reach out to you guys, Mike, and who's the best person to speak to in the team, and what does that onboarding look like?
Yeah, of course. So what we'll do is, yeah, we'll create a unique landing page for you
Yep,
guys so that you can come through that and automatically find a time in one of our team's calendars.
yep.
And then we'll make sure we look after you properly and have that consultancy call and really understand it. I think it's important to know as well, if you're not looking to expand right now, but just want some information so you know it is in the back of your head is always useful as well. We can also create a QR code at the same
Okay,
time. You can go on the Taxually website as well, or if you fancy emailing me, we can put my email on there, and I will make
yeah,
sure
cool.
we jump on a call and respond. And it's mike.stride, like large walking steps, at taxually.com. But we'll make sure we provide all the information that's required as well.
Last silly question time. If people are thinking about it, have got that, due diligence about expansion, whether they're ready or not, once VATs are registered, all that sort of stuff, is there like any expiry or anything like that? Do you have to use things in certain period of times, or can you have them sitting there waiting for you to go?
Yeah, yeah, of course. No, great question. So in terms of the kind of expiration, once you have that VAT number, it is live.
Okay.
And also in most of the UK and most of Europe as well, you're then obligated to file, even if you
Right.
do no sales, because you've obviously got that VAT number, you're obligated to then file to the tax authorities or in the
Okay.
UK, like the HMRC, to prove kind of prove that your tax is zero because you've done
Yeah,
no
yeah.
sales,
Okay.
and that's obviously where we come in. In terms of if you haven't used it, there can be expiry dates in some cases, but once you've got it and
Right.
if you're actively filing, it doesn't expire.
Got
And
it.
then if you want to kind of remove that VAT number, it's possible as well, which if you decide you wanted to expand into multiple countries and they're all
Mhm.
working bar one, then we can do retroactive kind of side and remove that VAT number as well as is what we offer here at Taxually.
Very powerful platform, mate. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure there's going to be some customers that we see it in our support chats as well. So that's why it was really timely today, and this will get released very soon. Mike, I appreciate it. All the links, guys, will be around this video in the comments. Please let us know your thoughts and anything that you need as far as global expansion help and support. Taxually are there for you and great partners of SKUdrop. So, Mike, thanks again, mate. And yeah, I really appreciate your time.
No, look, thanks for having me on. Really, really happy to be here and looking forward to the following ones. And yeah, anything that anyone needs to look to expand, if that isn't even VAT and compliance, feel free to reach out because happy to suggest or recommend or what's worked in the past. Like I said, we do this on a daily basis for lots of exciting sellers and brands. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from anyone that needs our support.
And I'm going to take you up on that demo on the software. I'd love to see that myself. So we'll do another video in the future.
Fantastic. No, we'll definitely do that.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed this show. Take care.